Liverpool to Portsmouth, yeah, that chorus got the crowd screaming.
Let's start one from scratch, just to give you an idea. Okay, we're going to remove this, which is all cosmetic. Just going to pry it back onto itself. Different subwoofers are going to have different options. If you are having an issue locating parts, try up, I believe it's PSI. They repair woofers. They have a website. You send them off for, I don't really know, I don't use them, but I do see them out there quite a bit. Pretty popular brand amongst the do-it-yourselfers and the guys that are going to do repairs. So maybe give them a check out. Okay, so that was step one. Step two, come back here to your tensile leads and come in, set of dikes, snip them. Make sure you get them on both sides if it's the door voice coil. Okay, they're snipped. Take your razor blade, come in right here. Oh wait, just so you know, these are locked up. They may look like good woofers, but that's what happens when you send 2,000 watts RMS to a woofer that holds 500. So, all right, just come in here. All right, we've got all the way around. We've released the foam. Okay, now for easeability, we're just going to go ahead and take all this back like this. Easeability, is that even a fucking word? For sake of ease. Okay, whatever it is. Okay, now we're going to hold this back. And we're going to come in, just razor blade through the spider. And all I'm doing here is cutting this. Once you get enough of it cut, start pulling the voice coil up out of there. Helps if you can get some needle nose down here or something. Pull around those tensile leads. If they make their entry level this damn tough, can you imagine what their big stuff's like? Okay, kind of last parts of the spider you have to. And once you guys actually see this, you see copper wound down into the former like that in the motor structure. It's a good sign that this was abused, and in this case we know it was. I won't lie, the customer was honest about it. That goes a long ways. He didn't give me no bullshit. He came in and told me what happened. That makes a world of difference. So, the cost of repairing a subwoofer is going to vary upon brand. If you're rebuilding what we call whore brands, you're probably going to spend a lot more because they don't make recone kits for theirs. They have to be imported and stuff. So, whereas a brand like this that's built around the car audio scene and rebuilding woofers and burning them up for competition. They have their parts readily available. You know, I'm a dealer, obviously. You can't buy this line online, so, but I can order these soft parts anytime I want them for any of their subwoofers, even subwoofers that they discontinued years ago, and that's a positive thing when you're in this business, is having access to the soft parts. If you're doing this brand digital designs, a little tip is come on the back side and use their air coolant holes with a, I like to use an Allen wrench because it's got a flat side on it, and you come down and just slowly push on that, and you'll push the rest of that copper off the voice coil former. Let's turn it over and take a look. As you can see, that helps bring the copper to the surface. Once you've got it at the surface, it's a lot easier to work with. And pull some out of there, and let's start this over again. All right. There's a lot of that voice coil stuck down in this motor structure. And all videos, edit everything out. Okay, and we're back. Sorry, mic went dead. Speaking of mic, sorry about some of the videos that you can get uploaded there for a while. I made 3 or 4 videos, spray lining speaker boxes, some really nice big builds we did with stuff, and whenever I was editing the video, the mic was up against my neck in a lot of those, and I didn't realize it where I was, looking down like this. So, I fixed this, but nonetheless, those videos can't be used now unless I overlay audio, and it just seems like, well, I can reshoot some videos on the same subject because I do them all the time, but it's just getting time to actually shoot the videos while trying to get the customer done. All right, that little bit of copper, which is a lot of it whenever you got it unwound, is what was stopping us. So stuff like that's going to put it in a damper and slow you down about 5 or 10 minutes. The sub just wants to show off because it's on video for the first time. All right. Get you a brake all the way across. And again, you'll remove most of the spider first time. So this is more of a normal situation. The other one seemed to roll off pretty easily. This Chinese kid was on his game this day. This thing is serious. God, that sounds horrible. This is actually one of their Chinese woofers. But that kid was on his game when he made this woofer. It's no joke. I've done a few of these repairs, but this one is, Jesus. It's this, none of this adhesive's letting up. So, but better to show you the real world than, some perfect world where I edit everything and it looks like everything went smooth. Sometimes this shit can be a pain in the ass, and that's when you go get a beer. It's a good idea. Okay, we're now down to the terminals. The sub's been cleaned up and ready to go. What we want to do is desolder these old tensile leads. So take your little razor blade, cut the heat shrink. Again, this is the old voice coil sub, so you'll have to do it on both sides. And get your little needle nose and grab a heat shrink. Pull it down off there. Like so. Once we have these exposed, let me try to set something under here for you guys so you can see this process. Okay, once we have these exposed, I'm going to come in right here and I'm going to heat it up on the bottom side. And these parts right here are plastic, so you can only hold heat on there so long, but start doing that, grab your tensile lead, give it a little shake there. It pops out right like that, and you've got a clean spot for your new one. You bring your tensile lead in, and your wire lays up through that. You solder it, or you crimp it, and then you solder it. Okay, at this point you're going to blow out the subwoofer and get all the debris out, and then just wipe it down with the standard rubbing alcohol, and you're good to go. At that point we're ready to start putting the subwoofer together. So at a tear down at this point, you're going to have approximately 20-25 minutes in this, and you'll be ready. Okay, and starting on another day, we've left the subs at this stage. We cleaned them all up and put the rags over them, so in case we're working in the shop they don't get dusty again. And then we just take the little rubber ring and put down on here. So all subs are ready. We're going to blow out the voice coil gap, and then we're going to rub everything down with alcohol, and we're going to get started on the actual rebuild. All right, taking alcohol and wiping down all the surfaces to prep for glue. Try not to retouch an area that you wipe down with alcohol. So to start with, we're going to take a shim and we're going to insert it into our voice coil former. Make sure that your tensile leads line up with a terminal. You're going to slide this down over. Then we're going to take that spacer and we're going to push that down some. And I'm going to take the next one. I'm going to turn it the other way, like so. Fold it together. We're going to push that down in there. It'll start to get tighter each time you put one down in there. In the case with the digital design subwoofers, you'll be using 3. This is not necessarily a step that you have to do first. I just like to know what I'm up against before I actually start on the gluing process. Okay, and you see this third one, I'm having a time pushing it down in there. So now I'm gonna, and this is just me. This is my repair process. So I want to slide this woofer. I'm gonna slide this voice coil around. Yeah. So in this case, we're actually going to use all 3, and that stops anything from shifting there and keeps that voice coil aligned to the center. So now that I know I'm good on this one, I'm just going to pull that thing up out of there. We're going to apply our glue, and we're going to get the spider down in there. This is the most critical part of repairing the subwoofer. So. Ooh, that shit's good stuff. Ooh. DD glue. Roadhouse. Okay, we're going to start by putting a bead of glue on our spider landing. This is where that little Lazy Susan that I talked about earlier comes into play, because you can just spin it. Make sure you get your glue on your landing. All right, come back, take a good look at it, because this part is important. This is all right, we're ready. We're going to set our voice coil. We have our shims already installed. Get that down in there and get your voice coil lined up. Get your tensile leads lined up. Make sure that they're going to line up good. Spin that thing a bit. Apply a little pressure, bounce it up and down just a hair, just to kind of get that glue absorbing. Take your applicator stick, come around here, you'll start seeing it bleed through. What I'm doing is just pushing on this up and down until I see the glue bleed through. Once it bleeds through, you want to let it set for 30 seconds or so to absorb into that spider. You can see Simon's over there prepping the other sub. It's actually a pretty quick process at this point. I'm blocking the video with my shoulder. Of course I am. I always do this to you guys. Sorry. Try to get this to where you guys can see. I don't want to lean this too much on doing it, but all I'm doing, and hopefully that shows in a video, you can see it leaking through. Get this good and set. All right. So let that sit there for about 30 seconds and absorb, and then we'll spritz it with an activator. So for those of you who don't know, this is a two-part glue. You basically use the glue, and this accelerator makes this shit dry fast. I'm talking seconds. So you're seeing this in real time. I'm not trying to edit right here. I really do some last minute checks before I do this. Make sure those tinsel leads line up good. This brand, Better Built, they use dual tinsel leads, even triple and quadruple, depending on which series of subs you're looking at. I don't quite like the way that's lining up, so try to shift that just a hair. Make sure my glue's coming through. That's the part about being picky. All right, looks good to me. We're gonna add accelerator to it. Better safe than sorry. So make sure you put enough on there. Then we're gonna come around with a backfill. At this brand's request, some brands are gonna be different. That's why I said read your instructions. You can build a woofer really well, no matter what it is, once you know how to build one. But some brands have little details in there that other companies don't use that may actually make a difference on the way theirs sticks. So this is just a backfill. It's more like a reinforcement. So we'll bring some in, do a thin bead for backfill. All right, at this stage, it's ready to attach the tinsel leads. And we'll just solder those in real quick. And then I basically move over, and because when you're doing multiple subs, you go from sub to sub. I know a lot of you guys are just gonna be rebuilding one sub. If this will show, I'm gonna try to show this on camera. When I push in on that, you should see the glue kind of bleed through. That's what you're looking for all the way around. So I'll come around here, run a little bead. It ain't major here, like so. Then I'll glue my landing. And we were talking about the foam landing on this one. About an 1/8 inch bead. Make sure you don't skip no areas here. You can come back and add, but this is definitely more of an important area of the subwoofer. And then like if I look and I see a little thin glue, I might add a little more bead. But yeah, this looks good to me. So you have some line-up tools here, sort of, and the cone. You see these two areas with the silver tab. We'll come in there, make sure to line up to our holes here too. And I'll push down on this, get everything set. And when it looks good to me down here, then I'll worry about this. Then just bring your fingers in and lightly rub around this. While you're working on this part, be careful not to touch any other part of the sub. And this is where you make your sub look good. Otherwise, you're gonna have a real nasty looking sub if you get this glue anywhere that's not supposed to be. And you're looking for any like bubbles or like rolls in the foam. You spin it back around. All right, so the pressure looks pretty good. So at this point, we're gonna accelerate this. Better use enough than not enough. You're gonna let that set for a few minutes, seconds, minutes. It just depends on what product you're using. And we're gonna repeat the step. I'm left-handed. I'll start filming these a different direction. Sorry when I cut you guys out like that. I just started catching that when I look back at some of my videos. At this point, we're just applying it down there. Simon's taking a light to look underneath to see if we got any outpours from the bottom. Anything? All right, so when they don't have nothing, watch your face. When you don't have nothing up under there, I'm just gonna mist some up under there so that it creates a wall and instantly stops any of that from coming through. Take our accelerator, spray our ends of our string, look down in there, and, you know, see if I'm happy with it or if I feel like I need more spray. Glue, sorry. Squeeze this around. Once I'm comfortable with how much glue down in there, you take the little tip and kind of spread it around some. And you put the accelerator. I'm gonna try to do this a different way so you guys can see. I push the string down in there. Remember, I wet that tip of that string with the accelerator so it automatically sticks. Bring my other finger around like so. Grab my applicator stick, move this thing around. Some people call these craft sticks. It's a popsicle stick. Popsicle sticks. Yeah. All right, we're moving all that into place. It's soaking up that glue nicely. I'll come in. Spreading it around with the applicator. Pull it up, make sure it's not going to drip. And hopefully you can see that crystallize right on camera. That's not edited, that's real time. So let it set to the side and it's done. So at this point, you're going to want to power test your subs and make sure everything works. Simon does an ohm load test on them and then sticks a battery to them and burps them. That's the quickest way to do these. So, and I can show that in future videos if you guys want about burping a speaker and finding their locations in cars or whatever you want to know. Just ask me down in the comments section. So you have a little indentation here that kind of helps guide you on where this is going to land. So you want to get a nice thin bead of glue. I'm not actually squeezing the glue at this point, I'm just using the tip to spread the glue. And get a nice bead of glue on there, right close to the lip. And then you're going to come in, it helps to have a little piece of tape or something to tape to your finger right here, roll it up, tape it, and then stick it down on there. I'm gonna go all stupid for the video, I guess. I'm actually just gonna hand lay this. Looking pretty good right there. And you're gonna apply some weight or pressure to this. Make sure it looks good to you. You got very little leadway here to move around. So when the spray works right, there it goes. You just get a nice little single mist out there, and that should be it. I'll come in, wipe off the sub, do a nice visual inspection on it, and that part's done. I'll move it over. Simon will get it. And as you can see, he's reinstalling the rubber gaskets on that. You end up with the finished product. So we went from a bad woofer back to a brand new woofer, and at usually half the price or better, unless you have a rare subwoofer or something that requires special parts. So keep that in mind. That's a good conversation right there. The biggest mistake I see is people don't consider these as an investment. And look, you know, I mean, these things blow. We're abusive as hell. For those that don't know about subwoofer rebuilding, we're usually rebuilding because we're abusive as hell to them.
We want to hit higher numbers and stuff like that, but make sure that you buy a brand that has parts that you can get to replace your subwoofer with. The PSI Car Audio, I don't know their website, but check it out. You guys can find it. It's a big pink star. You'll never miss it. Those guys usually have a lot of rebuild parts. With this brand, Digital Designs, DD Audio, we get all their soft parts from them. But you can usually build a sub at a fraction, rebuild a sub at a fraction of the cost because you're using the heaviest and most expensive parts already. So, if you like the video, hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell down there. I don't know if it's over here, if it's down here, or down here. I don't know. Hit that for us, and we'll have more videos coming up. This is just one I was working on. I wanted to film. It's getting a little cooler. It ain't 500 degrees in my garage, so hopefully we can get you guys some more videos out. Thank you.
All right, let's take a minute here to talk about things that you might want to know between, let's say, the he said, she said shit when it comes to name brands of car audio. This is and always will be one of the most respected brands in car audio. They're still an American company. They still make the record world holding subwoofers. And here it is, you see me repairing them. Well, let me explain something to you here. This brand, I can't get parts for. This guy right here that owns this company, they don't make parts for this. You buy this woofer, you're like, yeah, you know, well, it's cheaper than DD. And I'm like, well, yeah, it is. It's cheaper. That's because you can't get no fucking parts to repair the piece of shit. You know, I want to say that they make a good product. I really do. And they make a decent product. It's imported. There's nothing wrong with having your product made overseas. You just determine which manufacturer you're going to get it from. So these woofers are actually good. This is not a bad woofer in this picture. This is the one that were in the original How to Fiberglass a Speaker box video where they're playing. You can hit it up and check it out. These are decent woofers, but you know, if this woofer goes bad, it costs you $80 to replace it, or you know, whatever this particular model costs nowadays. So you know, if you buy this woofer at $100 and it goes bad, you know, 6 months from now, and you got to replace it, it's another $100. Okay. Then let's say you bought this brand. Oop, yep. Okay. Let's say you bought that brand, right? For approximately $40. Well, let's start from the original. So you buy this woofer for, let's say $100. And it goes bad 6 months from now. Very similar to the other brand over there. I can rebuild this woofer for $40. So you start to see where this is actually a better investment than this woofer right here. So this woofer in all scenarios, actually it comes in a little bit cheaper upfront cost. But if it blows, and oh, that brand will, it actually will cost you more in the future. So just keep that in mind, that when you're buying a product, that you know, these are things you want to look into. I could do 1,000 videos on this, and I don't know what video I'm going to edit this into. This may not go into the how to repair video, but it does open your eyes to a different way to look at this, that, well, yeah, that woofer may be cheaper up front, but if that woofer goes bad and I got to buy a new one, well, with this Digital Designs brand, that's a big perk. The fact that you can just repair it with soft parts. And this gets even better. So if this were, let's say, one of their $400 8-inch subwoofers, you could save even more because your repair cost may be, I don't know, I've never had to repair one, but let's say it was $75 or $100 to repair. That is when this woofer is going to be a better choice. Let's just look at it this way. When you buy a product, I would like to think that you invest into a product, and the way the markets went, it's no longer an investment. It's how many can we sell when it goes bad. Let's make it cheaper so we can sell them, and they'll just buy another one. Whereas this company values, it doesn't matter if their product's made in China or in their U.S. manufacturing facility. They want you to have an option to rebuild it, and to me, that's a very important thing in the market today, is that that you have access to be able to repair your product. And so many products are, come and gone that just don't care about that no more. They're make it cheaper, make it cheaper, make it cheaper, so we can just replace it. And no, I'll spend $40 the second time to repair my woofer instead of spending $100 again on another woofer. I don't know what this woofer cost